Hey guys, Steve from SJE-Tools here. Right, I've been asked the question on the good old on the inserts, the carbide inserts for the thicknesses. What is the difference between the K05 and the K01? Why should you have one and why should you have the 5? Well, the difference is very minimal, other than the actual makeup of the carbide and the actual types of wood the carbide is intended to be used for. And partially in there, this actually comes down to micron level fineness of the actual carbide. The K01 is slightly finer, slightly harder than the K05. The K05, being that slight rougher, provides slightly, is more forgiving to woods when they're softer, and it basically will work better with softer woods. Now, if you look through any kind of blade manufacturer for any inserts, they will state the same things. Your K05s are for your soft woods and your general hard woods. It will do soft woods great, hard woods good, not great. K01 great for hard woods, reasonable, good for soft woods. Now, from what I've seen from the K01, they pretty much will do softwoods pretty perfectly, as well as the hardwoods. So what I've got is these same 5 subjects, what we used in the previous video. So some off-the-shelf pine, some cypress pines, the merbau, the kaggai, figured grain, and the supposed hardest of all materials according to thickness blade manufacturers, MDF. So what I've got in my thicknesser is I have half of it set up with K05 blades, this half, and this half with K01 blades. So what I'm going to do, same test as before, run the timber through it one at a time, same thing. I'll take off half a mil at a time and basically see what they come out. From previous tests of my own, from of just working with the things, the softer woods tend not to taking off so much at a time. So if you take off over a mil, you can start getting sort of minor little tear outs here and there, because that's just what happens with the wood itself. It's not strong and it doesn't hold up when you're cutting off those bigger pieces. So the cypress is classified as a hardwood, but it's not that hard, not in comparison to the likes of mahogany or any of your rosewoods or anything like that, which a lot of my work is with guitars and woods for guitars, which in general are the harder of woods available. So hence why the K01, I offer it, because it is dedicated for working with the hardest of woods. And the K05 is actually the normal kind of carbide which your manufacturers of blades will provide you. So if you buy a Carbatec set of blades, I am pretty sure they are K05, or anyone else who makes the blades for the Accu-head cutters, they are K05s when they're in carbide. So we'll get started. We will put through a good old piece of pine, obviously being thick and smooth as is, but we'll just drop the thickness down, and we'll take off, as I said, half a mil, and we can see the actual differences between the blades. So there we go, ready to roll. So I'll fire it up and send it through. So, inspecting that board, as you can see, there is zero tear outs, zero anything from either side. And just looking at the finish in the light, there is there's nothing different between the two sides. If I touch it, feel it, I actually say I can feel some very minor lines on the K1 side, whereas the K5 is actually totally smooth across, whereas the K1 has got a little bit of a roughness between the blades, but as you can actually, it's very difficult to see, but there is, and you have to believe me on it because I can't get any kind of visibility there is actually a smoothness to the K05 side which you don't have on the K1 side. So, interesting. So let's move on to the Cypress. Got some nice big nuts there. We'll shove the nuts through the K05 and let's see how it handles them. Raise this up. Okay. So, same thing, half a mil. Up she goes. All the nuts survived, and I would say, as I said, there is actually this time the same kind of micro ridges between the blades, that between like the actual cutting runs of the blades. There's actually the very fine micro ridges that you can't actually see from naked eye. And just looking down the grain itself and try and use the light to see the difference, there's both sides essentially look identical. If anything, I would say purely from a lack of line, lack of rub marks, I would actually give the K05 slightly, let me see if I can get my light on that, would say it's a touch smoother of a finish. Only just, probably by a whisker, but there's very little to separate the two of them there. So anyway, let's move on to some harder wood, the Merbau. And same thing, half a mil. There is so little different between either side. I'd say moving my finger across that, it's pretty much identical on either side. As you can see, it's ultra smooth for whichever blade has done the cutting. So, Hagai. Figured grain. Let's get it through. Okay, so the K is set up, ready to roll. It's 1/2 mil, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll get this right in the middle. So, first off, just to note, those 2 tear outs were there before it went through. They weren't caused when it went through there. So, I can touch feel. I can definitely feel in this situation the grain over this side here, around here, is definitely rougher than what the K01 side comes out at. This has got a definite more rough feeling than K01. It's a K05s. It's definitely slightly more rough. But what we'll do, as we have the same grain on either side, I'll run the same thing through the other side, because obviously it's very wavy grain and it's very different from either edge of the piece. Okay, so I'm going to run the Carbide through on the opposite side, so we'll have the more curvy grain over for the K01s and the straighter grain for the K05s. So let's see how the K01s compare to the K05s with the wavier grain. So 1/2 mil, same thing. Okay, I mean, you can see the smoothness in there of that grain on that side. When I turn it over, you can see the roughness there. That's a pretty clear comparison between K05 and K01. It's minimal, as I said. The difference is, and K01 will handle harder, curlier woods, but the K05s, as you can see, either way you look at it, K01 and K05s, they still do perfectly acceptable job. So last and not least, or last and least I should say, MDF. Let's see what K05s, I'm going to put it all the way in the K05s just for the sake of it, because I think so we'll take 1/2 mil off. I can feel the slightly furry finish what was left from the last time from K01s. So let's see how it comes out from the K05s. Much as I expected, it's identical. And if anything, there is actually less of line marks from the K05s than there is from the K01s. I personally don't believe that MDF is the be all and the end all of thickness of tests for hard blades, but there you go. So anyway, as you can see, the K05s will handle more than adequately all your hardwoods, including figured stuff. However, it will on the curlier grains, you will get a better result using the K01s. Cheers, then.